Hello everybody. So today we're going to prune the roses and prune some of the hydrangeas. The roses already have some sprouts going, but that's okay. These are very prolific, so I'm not too worried about it. But we're gonna prune them at least halfway, just so the plant doesn't grow too big. These are knockout roses, and you have to prune them a little bit every year so they don't get too massive. If not, they'll get really massive, and that's not good. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Pruning roses is a super easy task to do. I usually start by pruning off the branches that are thinner. Those do not produce super beautiful big blooms, and they usually flop over, so I like to prune those branches off as well, and it helps with airflow, to have airflow throughout your plant as well. And whenever I prune one of the branches that I want to keep, I usually try to prune above new growth that's going outside of the plant instead of going inside of the plant, because that also helps with airflow. And you don't have to do this to every single branch, but like I said, it's really good for the plant. So I would say try your best at doing it that way. Roses really like to have a lot of airflow, so I would say it's a really good thing to do for your plant. And I've been loving my double knockout roses ever since I planted them. They have done amazing. They have produced so many flowers for me, and usually they're in bloom most of the seasons. They lull a little bit after they bloom, and I prune them back a little bit, and they flush back super fast. They have been a really amazing plant to have in my garden. I think most people don't know that they need to prune them. They need to prune them hard. Like you guys see, if I pruned this plant, I don't even know how many times since I got them, and I have kept them in that 4-foot size. That way they'll be more of a smaller shrub than a giant mess. They can't get out of hand if you let them go. So I would say if you're getting double knockout roses, make sure you prune them every time they're done blooming, and really hard in the spring. Yep. To keep your plant contained and a nice size. And if you have any dead branches, go ahead and prune those off all the way to the ground. And then those are the 3 steps that I follow. I try to prune thinner branches, prune all the dead off the plant, and prune the branches that I'm keeping with the new growth towards the outside of the plant. And that's all I do. And of course I fertilize it, but I'm not gonna fertilize the plants yet. And I'm all done with the roses, and they look amazing. They look even better than last year, so I'm super excited to see how they do this year. So the hydrangeas that I'm going to be pruning today are the panicle type hydrangeas. These ones are super easy plants, and all I do to them is I prune about a third of them every year. I prune off any branch that's super thin, because those branches are not going to be able to support their blooms, and they're 100% gonna flop over on a windstorm or on rainy days. So I usually make sure to prune those off the plant, and I prune anything that's dead. Any branches that are dead, I go ahead and prune those off, and that's all I do to them. They're super easy plants to have in your garden. So this one in particular is the limelight hydrangea from Pruners, and it's an amazing plant to have in your garden. In this one in particular is in part sun situation. It has morning sun in the morning and afternoon shade, and it's done amazing in the garden. So yeah, it's a really good plant to have in your collection of plants. So I only have three types of hydrangeas in my garden. I have the panicle hydrangeas, arborescent hydrangeas, and the microphalia hydrangeas. The only ones I'll be pruning today are the panicle ones. The smooth hydrangeas that I have in my garden, they're really, really tiny because I bought them in I bought them when they were only, I bought them in pots that were only 4 inches. That's what I'm trying to say. So they're really tiny, so I don't want to do anything to them. I'm only going to prune the flowers off of them, and that's all I'm going to do to those. The microphalia hydrangeas, don't touch those. Do not prune those off because you'll be pruning flowers off of them. So don't prune any of those. So this one is another panicle hydrangea from Proven Winners. This is the quick fire, and I'm only pruning the flowers off of this one because, like you guys can see, it has really, really strong stems. So I'm not gonna do a lot to that one. And I want it to be a little bit more rounder this year. That's why I left a little bit off of this plant, and I might prune it even rounder next year, if that makes sense. You really have to assess the plants that you have in your garden because, you know, you might have to do a little bit of shaping, and, you know, sometimes you have to prune more or less to have the shape that you want. And this is how they look. They're really, really nice. They look really nice this year, so I'm super excited to see them this year. I think the show is gonna be even more beautiful than last year. Even though they did amazing last year, I think this year is just gonna be super, super amazing. So I can't wait. I can't wait for the cold to go away. Well, these ones right here, I don't know if they're limelight hydrangeas. They have the tag says they were limelight hydrangeas, but they do not look like limelight hydrangeas. Anyways, this is what they look in the garden. They're so beautiful. I love all my Proven Winners limelight hydrangeas that I have in the garden. They're amazing. I love hydrangeas. They're super beautiful. So the microphalia hydrangeas that I have are the endless summer hydrangeas. They've done super amazing in the garden. Last year they did amazing. There was a point in time where I wanted to rip them out of the flower beds because they were flopping over. They were really small. They were burning up. They take a while to establish in the garden, so just give them a little bit of time. Not a little bit, give them about 2 years for them to start thriving. They're really fussy at the beginning. They don't really like to be moved around, so they'll be fussy for about 2 years, and then after the 3rd year they'll start like really going at it. So make sure you give them time to establish. But they're really beautiful, and like I said, I'm not gonna prune the microphalia hydrangeas today. I usually don't prune those. I only clean them up, and here they are right now. This is how they look. I'm not gonna touch them today. I'm just letting you guys know that the only thing I do to these ones is to clean them up. If I have to prune, I wait till that plant has given me a flower, and I prune the flower and I enjoy it inside, and then that's how I prune my so I usually prune them in the summertime after they bloom, because, you know, you don't want to cut those blooms that take forever. It takes a whole season for them to set their blooms. Even the endless summer, which is the ones that I have, they're supposed to be a reblooming hydrangea. I do not prune them because I know it took them a while to be this beautiful. So I'm really careful with them. But yeah, other than that, they're amazing plants after a while. So yeah, I love them. They're so beautiful. Oh my goodness, it feels so good to be outside. Finally gardening, bringing the kids outside because it's not cold. I mean, it is cold, but it's like mild. It just feels so good to be outside with the whole family again. It's been a long winter, and looking at these beautiful blooms and doing gardening chores is such a treat after this long winter that we had. And it was a cold one. It was a really cold one. So we decided to do a little bit of experiment. We are going to try to propagate a few of the roses, a few of the branches that we prune off the roses, and we'll see how it goes. It's just an experiment. If it works, it's awesome. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. So I just wanted to show you guys because I thought it was fun. And these ones are there. I put a can of each variety in each pot, and I didn't do anything special. I'm just using potting mix. I'm not using any hormones or anything like that. I'm just putting the branches straight to the potting mix, and that's all I'm doing. And I'll let you guys know if it worked or not here in a few weeks. But yeah, try to do new things. I think it's always nice to try to do new things in the garden so it doesn't get boring. But yeah, and that's usually why I plant a lot of annuals in my garden. That way I can have a different show every year and it doesn't get boring, if you guys know what I mean. Cuz I don't know why I'm like this way. I need to have something new every year. But yeah. I'm already working on what I'm going to plant in the garden, and it's going to look amazing. I swear, it's going to look amazing. I'm just so excited about everything. I am. So after we were done pruning the hydrangeas and the roses, Carlos decided to prune a few of the branches, a lot of the branches of the trees around the backyard, and that's all we did today. We did a lot of chores. The kids were helping, and it was a beautiful day outside. I encourage everybody to go outside and just do a little bit of gardening, breathe some fresh air, and have an awesome time with the people you love. And see you till next time. Bye bye.